She had just $1 left, not for food. Not for rent, $1. To survive, and she gave it away. What happened next, no one saw coming. Her name was Emily, 24 years old, no job, no family to call, 3 days, without a proper meal, and tonight, she had just $1 left to her name, just 2 months ago. Emily had a normal life. A small apartment, a steady job, a future, but everything changed when the company she worked for shut down overnight. No warning, no savings, no backup plan. The rent piled up, bills followed, and soon, she lost everything, her apartment, her stability, her sense of control. Now, she was just trying to survive. One day at a time. That morning, she checked her pocket, $1, that was it. $1 stood between her and hunger. She stared at a small food stand across the street. Maybe she could buy something cheap, something small, just to make it through the day. Her hands trembled, her stomach growled louder. She hadn't eaten since yesterday morning. That's when she noticed him, an old man, sitting on the cold pavement. His clothes were torn, his face tired, and his eyes empty. He looked worse than she felt. She looked at her dollar again. This could be her only meal today, maybe even tomorrow. She hesitated, walked a few steps forward. Then stopped, turned back. Emily walked up to the man, her voice barely a whisper. Here. You need this more than I do. She placed the dollar in his hand. For a moment, he didn't react. Then slowly, he looked up, and that's when it happened. The man's expression changed. Almost unsettling. Emily felt a chill run down her spine, because in that moment, she realized this wasn't just a random act of kindness, something bigger had just begun. The man held the dollar carefully, then he spoke. Why would you give this to me, when you clearly need it yourself? Emily hesitated. She didn't even have a clear answer. I don't know, she said softly, but I just felt like I had to. The man studied her face, not judging, not questioning, just understanding. Then suddenly, he stood up, straight, steady, not weak like before, not fragile. Something about him had changed completely. Walk with me, he said. Emily blinked, confused, but something inside her told her to trust him. They walked in silence, block after block. The streets began to change, from broken sidewalks to clean roads, from noise to calm. Emily's heart started racing. Where was he taking her, finally? They stopped, in front of a large building, glass walls, security at the door. Emily froze. This doesn't make sense, she whispered. The man turned to her and smiled again. I needed to see something, he said, to see if kindness still exists, without expectation. Emily's eyes widened. I'm not who you think I am. He reached into his coat and pulled out a card, a business card. Emily looked down. Her hands started shaking. The name on the card, CEO, founder, one of the biggest companies in the city. This wasn't just a homeless man, this was a man who owned everything. You gave me your last dollar, he said, when you had nothing. He paused. That tells me everything I need to know about you. Emily couldn't speak, tears filled her eyes. I want you to come work with me, he said, starting today. Emily stood there, frozen. From her last dollar to a new life, all because she chose kindness over fear. Sometimes, the smallest act creates the biggest miracle. If she had kept that dollar, her life would have stayed the same, but she didn't, and that changed everything. If this story moved you, share it with someone who needs to believe that kindness still matters.